Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Information is power. Information is power.
Tell the truth.
Information is power.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Information
Tell the truth.
is power.
Tell the truth.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
What's up, everybody?
The truth.
Peace.
Tell the truth.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the program. Let's start off this way. Let me make sure that you all can hear me, that my mic is clean, that you can hear me by putting a 7 in the chat room. I really appreciate you all out there that are in the chat room, people that will be coming in as the show goes on. I'm going to try to make this as less emotional because I think that's part of the problems around this particular issue with Deion Sanders is that we've put, as black people, I got to be honest, we've put way too much emotional emphasis into Deion Sanders in terms of our emotions as to why he left, what he did, what he didn't do at Jackson State. Way too many emotions, and I'm going to break that down, what I'm talking about. But put a 7 in the chat room if the audio is clear. I appreciate you. Just want to test that out. I have a lot of video. I'm going to let you know what you're in for today. I have a lot of video, a lot of clips to show you. I have receipts to show you because as it says on the thumbnail, on the description of this thumbnail, Deion Sanders, Jackson State. Did Deion do more for Jackson State? Because a lot of people have jumped out the window and have called Deion a sellout. And we need to analyze, what do you mean by sellout? Because last time I checked, Deion has been doing work with black young men for a very long time. All the way back to his prime academy in Texas. Those of you who call him a sellout, put 2 fingers back at yourself and ask yourself, what have you been doing in the community? Are you mentoring young black men and making a difference in their life? Because Deion has made more of a difference in the lives of black men, young black men, in the last 3 years, just alone at Jackson State, than many of you out there claiming he's a sellout. Now we've got Umar Johnson jumping out the damn window, having a lot to say, but Deion Sanders has spent more time working with young men in just the last 3 years, not even counting what he did prior to being at Jackson State, than we've seen Umar Johnson in God knows how long. Umar Johnson jumped out the window on The Breakfast Club. He only went to The Breakfast Club because they got to get their ratings up. So they bring that man on who has yet to build a school he's been working on since 2009, continuing to borrow, damn near steal money from black folks as he begs for donations. And then he's sitting up here talking about Deion Sanders instead of understanding that, hey, I need to make allies with people who have money like Deion. Maybe Deion would cut me a damn check to get that dump up and running. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. This is the Information Man Show. Welcome to the experience.
This was about saving systemically the HBCU legacy and the HBCU program holistically. This wasn't about sports, brother. Sports was the medium to do it, but this was bigger than sports, and you sold us out for money, bro.
Tell the truth.
Now, let me just say this right here. Deion Sanders was not brought to Jackson State to be a savior of Black America. That's our biggest problem right there. And that biggest
Tell
problem that
the
we have
truth.
is that we have a Messiah complex. Black people have this Messiah complex in general, not all black people, but some of us, where we expect one black person to save us from all our ills and all our problems. They brought Deion Sanders to Jackson State to fix an issue that they had, which was their football team. Deion Sanders went to Jackson State, and when he got there, he saw horrible things. Horrible conditions. Who do you blame for that? Do you blame Deion Sanders? Or do you blame the people or the individuals who are most responsible for the conditions of the school, which are, in this case, the president, Thomas K. Hudson, right here. He is the president. He is the president of the university. The buck stops with him. Anything that was wrong with that university was not Deion Sanders' responsibility, ladies and gentlemen. It was Thomas K. Hudson, the president of Jackson State University. Tigers. Damn it. If we're going to be honest about this today, we're going to be honest, and I'm going to take the gloves off. And I want to say out there to Brother Ben of the BS3 Network, I think I'm having some technical problems because I think I'm not live on Roku.
You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
Tell the truth.
I don't think I'm hooked up to Roku. There's something that went wrong. I'm broadcasting out of another type of software. So I think I'm having some technical problems. I'm broadcasting into YouTube, but I think the Roku connection may not be working. So what I would say to Brother Ben, what I'll do, what I'll do is I will upload a video copy of this stream, and hopefully I can get it on to Roku TV as on demand for people to watch it on demand. So I'll be talking to you about that, Brother Ben.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
All right. Let me go back over here again. So the president of the team of this university is Thomas K. Hudson. It's his responsibility. Deion Sanders was not hired to be a damn president of the school. So therefore, any other ills with the school was not necessarily his responsibility. But yet Deion was taking money out of his own pocket to take care of other ills on that campus that many of you may not be aware about, you might have heard about, but he's not getting any credit for because people are pissing on him on Twitter and various social media saying that he's a sellout. If you're going to call him a sellout, point two fingers at yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Do you pay taxes? Do you go to work and work for a job that's run and operated by white people? Do you have Nike shoes on? Black people don't make Nike shoes. Are you wearing Adidas, Pumas? Are you wearing any type of sports apparel that has a name of a European on it? Are you wearing Louis Vuitton bags? Are you wearing hats? Are you wearing cologne that's made from French people? Then you're already selling out because you're not giving that money to black people. Deion Sanders, I'm going to make the argument, did more for Jackson State than most of the people that are parading around social media saying he's a sellout. Don't even know the real definition of a sellout. A sellout is someone who turns their back on black people altogether. Don't want nothing to do with you. Don't have no inclination to help you. How can he be a sellout when he has black men on the staff that he's been working with since Little League football? He's also going to elevate them to that next level. The problem with a lot of our people is that we don't see the bigger picture. We only see the small tunnel. We don't see the bigger picture because I think that Deion, at the end of the day, he has aspirations to be an NFL coach, maybe even an NFL owner, but you can't see the bigger picture because we're caught up in this whole thing that, well, he turned his back on the HBCUs. How did he turn his back on anybody? They got more facilities and more money donated to the university that they ever had before he got there. He took less money. He was Deion Sanders was the most winningest coach in the SWAC conference, one of the most winningest coach in overall college football, and he was paid less than anybody in college football and was doing more than anybody with less. When he got there, they didn't even have matching practice uniforms. When he got there, they didn't even have a proper football field. The grass was all tore up. Whose responsibility is that? Who's responsible for that? Is it Deion, or was it the president of the school? And was it the damn athletic director, Ashley Robinson? Why didn't Ashley Robinson, as the athletic director, spend the money that was necessary to at least make sure your damn grass is in good condition? And when they went through that whole situation with the water crisis, who went into his pockets once more and took out his own personal wealth to put his players in proper hotel rooms, get them a proper meal, a proper shower, and then everybody down there is talking about, well, he did that for his football players, but what about everybody else? Was Deion Sanders supposed to save everybody in Jackson, Mississippi? He did his first responsibility. When you recruit kids for a football team or sports, and you walk into someone's living room, a family, and your job as a coach is to say to the mother and the father, I got your son for 4 years. Don't worry, ma'am. Don't worry, son. I'm going to take care of your son for all 4 years that he's here. We're going to help him be the best he can athletically. If he has the skills to get to the NFL, the next level, we'll assist him in that. If he has the great academic ability, then we'll assist in making sure he has the best chance as possible to graduate from school. That's Deion Sanders' responsibility. How many of you, when you get hired on a job, go to a job, and now all of a sudden a job that's supposed to pay you a salary, you're digging in your pockets to pay for the job? Come on now.
Information
Tell the truth.
is power.
That was Thomas K. Hudson's responsibility, ladies and gentlemen. It was his responsibility to take care the school affairs of all students. We forgot that
Tell the truth.
We forgot that Deion Sanders was hired to be a coach. Nothing more, nothing less. He wasn't hired to be the president of all black people in America. He was not hired to be the president of the school. He was hired to be a football coach. But what we do as black people is because we have sometimes, not all of us, low self-esteem about ourselves. We feel inferior. And when someone comes along that's charismatic like Deion Sanders, we latch on to them. We want to ride the coattails of these individuals like this. And then we want to say when they're doing good that he's supposed to be there forever and save all black people. Do you know, ladies and gentlemen, if Deion Sanders would have had a losing record for all 3 years at Jackson State, he would have been fired. And then what would you all had said then? Get rid of Deion. Deion's terrible. He was a great player, but a terrible coach. Y'all know damn well that y'all would have said that about Deion Sanders. Y'all would have said that. Y'all would have said, get this Negro out of here. He's terrible. He doesn't know what he's doing, and that is the damn truth. Y'all would have said, get him out of here. But because he was a winner and everybody likes a winner, everybody attached themselves to Deion Sanders emotionally and then got attached to Jackson State. Many of you out there that were riding the wave with Deion Sanders, you weren't a fan of Jackson State originally. A lot of you out there listening to me right now didn't even know anything about Jackson State or HBCU college until Deion got there and put it on the map. The great Walter Payton played there. There's been a lot of great players that have come out of HBCUs. The NFL football that you're watching today wouldn't be what it is today without HBCUs. Some of the most greatest players came out of HBCUs, like a Jerry Rice.
Tell the truth.
Most people were following Jackson State simply because Deion Sanders was there. He brought a certain level of cachet. He brought a certain level of flash, stuff like that. Y'all know damn well that y'all was not watching no Jackson State until this man got there. That's when you start watching Deion Sanders in Jackson State. If Jackson State would have hired someone that you never heard of, they would have never got that shine nationally. Nobody would be talking about Jackson State. Jackson State would not have the level of prestige that it got off of this man that you see on the screen right here, Deion Sanders. They would have not gotten any of that shine that you see this man on the screen at all. It is Deion Sanders that brought that shine, that energy. And let me say peace to my dear brother right here, Sir Hale Speaks Network, $4.99 super chat, which I really appreciate. Y'all make sure that y'all check out his channel and give that brother some love for what you just did for me, brother. Let me give you the super chat celebration. Here we go.
Thank you for the super chat.
Time to run it off. I wake up. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check, no drip this. Wet. Tell them run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check, no drip this. Wet. Tell them run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it up. 9 out of 10 roll through my hands, I'm by my lonely. Turned to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me. I'm number one up on that court, I'm Nick McGrady. The first one in, the last one out, can't call me lazy.
All right.
Tell the truth.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we're doing over here. We're going to tell the truth about Jackson State and I mean everything else. Look, the bottom line is Deion Sanders he is one man. He has a family to take care of. The most money that Deion Sanders made, which is more than many of us have ever seen, is around $33 million in his overall NFL career. Overall, that was a long time ago. We don't know his financial situation. We don't even know if it was difficult for him to break $150,000 that he broke off of his own personal money to take care of some of the inadequacies that he discovered at Jackson State. Why are we throwing Deion Sanders down the bus? Because he decided to go to Colorado State, as you see right there. Doesn't a man have the right to make a decision when he's in a profession that is a profession about elevating yourself to the next level of football, where he has already said he's going to recruit black players? He's already getting 5-star black players. He went there and told them there's going to be a damn change around here. I'm going to have to move some of you out. And he's bringing black players in. He told them, I'm bringing my Louis with me. Meaning he bringing them black coaches with him. He's bringing black players with him from the schools that he's recruiting them from. He told them. How many of you out there right now, be honest with yourself, if you had someone knocking on your door tomorrow, some of us YouTubers, if we had big time people knocking at our door saying we want to elevate you and give you a big giant stage, or we want to improve you, we're giving you a raise, are you going to turn a raise down? Are you going to turn a raise down at your job? Or if you own your own business, are you going to turn down contracts that could boost your business so that you can be multi-millionaire, multi-billionaire? Which means if you got more money, you can do more for black people. See, some of y'all forgot that Deion Sanders, before he got to Jackson State University, had the Prime Academy in Texas. And by the way, this is a sad thing I'm going to tell you. Why you think he don't have that academy, or that academy's not running under his name no more? Because you had black folks out there in Texas that was hating on Deion Sanders while he's working with young black males, because they were jealous of him, because he had young black males flocking to go to his program, to be a part of his academy. How the hell can he be a sellout when the black men that he's bringing to Colorado with him, they have a chance to be elevated as well, where they can get a big job at another school as well, make money and help their family. Deion already said that he was recommending that someone on his staff be the lead coach to keep things going. Deion, I'm going to keep it real with y'all. Deion went to Colorado, and in that room, you had a lot of, you had white football players, black football players, but there was a lot of white boys in that audience. And Deion told him like this: things gonna change around here. Here we go.
Replace it with it. And even some of the guys that aren't here that's supposed to be here, those are the ones. All this gonna stop. I still have unfinished business to do at Jackson State, because whatever I start, I'm gonna finish. And we gotta go win this championship. We gonna do that. But then shortly thereafter, I just want you to know, I'm coming.
I'm coming.
Not to compete, but to win. Not to show up, but to show out. Not to be amongst the
Speaking
rest,
with
but
your
to be
girl,
better.
Marcellus, good to see you, my sister.
I'm coming.
He's coming.
I'm flat out coming. This is real. This ain't no ESPN, or this ain't one of the networks you just happen to see me on. I'm right in front of you. You know why? Because I'm coming. I'm coming to restore, to replace, to re-energize some of y'all that are salvageable. I'm not gonna lie, everybody that sit their butt in the seat ain't gonna have a seat when we get ready. But I'm coming. I started, and we're gonna go dominate, then we're gonna work. I'm coming to work and not to play. I'm coming to kill it and not to kick it. I'm coming. So you gotta.
He's saying that some of those folks in there are not going to have a scholarship at Colorado because he's bringing in a lot of black recruits. And y'all talking about Deion as a sellout. A sellout is someone who does nothing for his people, helps nobody, and does nothing, only does everything for himself. Deion Sanders has been selfless when he was at Jackson State. I'm going to give you the statistics and the data like no one. We got to get off of this identifying. There are some legitimate people that we know are sellouts. Like, for example, I'll give you one perfect example. Why are we calling Deion Sanders a sellout, but we're not calling someone like... Why are we calling Deion Sanders a sellout, but we don't call Kanye West a sellout? Some of us, not all of us, but some of us. We got people on the YouTube streets, black folks running around here saying that Kanye West is a free thinker. Kanye West is telling us the truth. Yeah, Kanye West is telling us exactly what we already knew a long time ago. We got Kanye West talking about how he loves Nazis, getting on Alex Jones, the conspiracy idiot, doesn't even show him his face with his face covered with a mask, like he's out of a comic book or superhero or Marvel movie. Talking about he loves Jewish people, but then says he loves Nazis and Nazis are great. Who in the hell? And a lot of y'all don't even know that when Hitler was alive, he also killed black people in Germany. There were black people in Germany that also were killed by Hitler. And this sucker up here talking that nonsense. And then he turns around and says black people made a decision to be a slave. He sat up there and embarrassed and disrespected the Floyd family by saying that it was some fentanyl or whatever that he got hit with, and that he really wasn't on, Derek Chauvin really wasn't on his neck and stuff like that. And then we got black folks on YouTube, social media, calling this man a free thinker. Oh, leave Kanye West alone. Give him a break. Oh, Kanye West is speaking the truth. No, Kanye West is an idiot. So we don't call Kanye West a sellout, even though he's been anti-black towards black people. What has Kanye West done to contribute to any HBCU school? What has Kanye West done to help black people overall? He has a school in Los Angeles, California that's connected to his goofy cult church. And guess what is the percentage of black people that live in the neighborhood? Damn it, 1% of the population where his school is located has a population of black people in the Los Angeles area. 1 damn %. And we call him a free thinker, and he's talking truth for black people. He's been talking raggedy about us. And now we're going to set up here with our raggedy asses. I'm going to tell it real to you. With our raggedy asses, and we're going to call Deion Sanders a sellout who's done more for a black community in Jackson, Mississippi, for the community as well as the college than any of these individuals that you think are free thinkers like a Kanye West, a damn fool.
Tell the truth.
And we sitting up here clowning the man when the man has done things for black young men prior to even being hired at Jackson, Mississippi. Let's hear just a little bit more of this.
So when I get back, ain't gonna be no hats, no meetings, ain't gonna be no hoodies on and no meetings, ain't gonna be no phones. I wish you would bring a phone in the meeting.
What's going on, Black Men Unfiltered?
In the meeting. Everybody's gonna look like everybody.
I'm not playing with y'all today.
It's gonna be a different place, a different feel, a different attitude, a different energy, a different work ethic, a different want, a different hunger, a different desire, a different need, a different capacity. It's gonna be a different reach.
I'm going to say it again. I'm not playing with y'all today.
If you think I'm here to play around with y'all, goddamn I'm not. If you think I'm here to play around with y'all, goddamn I'm not.
I'm coming. See, by now you better feel it. You can feel what I'm saying. You can feel where I'm coming from. And you know I ain't playing because I got the credentials to back it up. I'm coming. And you're going to hear me because it's going to be little solid little footsteps.
Tell the truth.
Now, you can clearly tell that Deion Sanders is not playing around, and he's very serious about. He's coming with the same energy that he brought to Jackson State. I'm going to say it again. Jackson State had a lot of ills before he got there. He did not create the problems that were already at Jackson State. Actually, he enhanced the campus, enhanced the experience for his players. He did what he was hired to do. He stayed there for 3 years, and everybody ragging on him. Oh, I got some good stuff for you. If y'all think I'm playing with you, I'm not playing with you.
If you think I'm here to play around with y'all, goddamn I'm not. If you think I'm here to play around with y'all, goddamn I'm not.
And I'm not here to play around today. Now, let's go ahead and let you hear an audio from 60 Minutes. It's a short one, not the whole thing, because we have to conserve time and what have you. And let me say peace to Brother Ben out there. I think I'm not connected to Roku tonight, so I'm going to have to send this by way of an upload later when I do a recording on this. But let me, because I'm not going through the regular system here. So let's go ahead and hear the recording. I appreciate everybody in the chat room. We got Empress Goddess in the house. One Busy Mama. Lisa Jackson's in the house. I think Black Man Unfiltered was here. The beautiful Bernice is in the house. May City is in the house. DJ Chuck is in the house. Jill's Chocolate Boutique. Appreciate all of you that have come in to contribute to this program tonight. I really appreciate you. Let me let you hear this as soon as I can find this. Usually I have everything ready to go. And here we go, right here. Thank you, Hakeem, for the $5 for Information Man. They ran JSU like a bunch of corrupt bandits. Yeah, I'm going to get to that. I got juicy stuff for you. I'm going to get to it. Y'all might as well kick back, get your drink, get your popcorn, get whatever you got to get, because I'm bringing it for you tonight. So here we go. Here's a 60-minute clip right here with the Ashley Robinson. I'm telling you right now, the two people that you should be pointing a finger to is the president of the college, Mr. Thompson, H. Hawkinson. Let me get his name correct here for the purposes of this. Mr. Thomas K. Hudson and Ashley Robinson. They both need to be the ones you should be putting your blame at. Deion Sanders spent $150,000 on his own money to improve facilities, tennis courts, locker rooms. I said it. Let's hear it on 60 Minutes here.
There's no other Deion Sanders.
What's Deion Sanders worth to Jackson State?
Ooh, I don't think I can put a number on it. I don't think it's enough zeros. I mean, he's worth a whole lot.
The bump in attendance, buzz, and commerce is especially welcome in a city marked by poverty. deprivation that can be glimpsed just on the other side of the fence from the JSU football facility. The program was depressed as well. Time was, Jackson State produced 4 Hall of Fame NFL players, including running back Walter Payton. But when Sanders arrived, not one Jackson State player had been drafted in 12 years.
What struck you about being here on this campus?
The need.
What kind of needs are you sensing here?
You want to start in alphabetical order or in numerical?
Sanders was immediately confronted with the economic realities of HBCUs and with the social cleavages of Mississippi.
What were the facilities like?
Horrible. And I'm sitting up there thinking, even to this day, how can a public high school in Texas look better than a college?
Football facilities where you lived in Texas were better than this.
School. Forget the darn football facility, the whole darn school. That shouldn't be right.
Jackson State's old practice field was so shabby, when it rained, the Tigers had to bus to a local high school. Coach Prime reached out not to a wealthy booster, but to Walmart, which built Jackson State a brand new practice field. Next, he had a new locker room built. The attention Sanders has brought to HBCU football has translated into a revenue spike for his league, the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Dr. Charles McClelland is the conference commissioner.
Did you expect him to have this kind of an impact on HBCUs when he came to Jackson State?
I did not, and I often say this. I've been around stars before. This is the first time that I've been around a superstar, and I really did not realize
What do you
difference.
mean by that?
Well, you know, a superstar can enter any room, can enter any boardroom. Coach Prime is a business person. Coach Prime has opened up doors for the Southwestern Athletic Conference that we could not get into.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So there you have it. That's the 60 Minutes interview that he had, a very powerful interview that he had about Jackson State, as you heard right there. And many of you have probably seen the interview live on TV. He said when he got there that the conditions were horrendous. They were below the standards of even a high school program or a high school campus. He said that the campus was not even up to par as it relates to even a high school that he would see in Texas. Did Deion Sanders create these conditions, or should you be looking at the presidents of these institutions? In this case, you see him right here, right next to Deion Sanders, as I show you right here. The man to the right is Ashley Robinson, the athletic director. The man at center is Mr. Thomas K. Hudson, the president of the school. And, of course, there's been some controversy flying around the school whether they cheated Deion Sanders out of money. You're saying, is it true? There's a lot of rumors on the social media streets that they might have been skimming money from ticket sales because Deion was supposed to get a percentage based on if they get 30,000 people in the stands versus it being 28. Well, there's a notion that they got 28,000, or they marked it down to 28,000 people so that they couldn't give him the bonus money that was elated in his contract. Let me break it down to you. A lot of you don't know that Deion Sanders had a contract incentive. He had a incentive-laden contract because, let's be honest, they really couldn't afford to pay him outright what Colorado's paying him. So they gave him an incentive-laden contract, just like you have in professional sports. If you get so many points, if you score so many touchdowns, you win so many games. In the case of him being a coach, it was based on how many games he wins, things of that nature. If you win so many games, you get so many things. Remember, September 21st, 2020, Deion Sanders is hired to become the 21st head coach in the history of Jackson State Tiger football. Remember, February 21st, 2021, Sanders makes his head coaching debut, leading Jackson State to a 53-0 victory over Edward Waters Tigers. September 5th, 2021, Jackson State defeats Florida A&M in the first Orange Blossom Classic in 43 years. So he beat them in 43 years. They hadn't beaten Florida A&M. December 4th, 2021, Jackson State defeats Panview AME 27-10 to claim their first SWAC championship since 2007. You see what he's done there? December 14, 2021, Sanders wins the Eddie Robinson Award after leading Jackson State to their first 10-win season since 1996. He became just the second HBCU head coach to win awards in its 35-year existence, okay? Now, we're sitting up here hating on this man? What the hell's wrong with us? Okay, December 18th, 2021, Sanders' first full season with Jackson State ends on a sore note after losing 31-10 to South Carolina State in a what they call a Celebration Bowl. Okay, April 20, that's the only blemish on this record. April 24th, 2022, Jackson State becomes the first HBCU to have a national televised spring game airing live on ESPN. Okay, April 30th, 2022, former Jackson State defensive end James Hudson is selected by Detroit Lions in the 6th round. Because of Deion Sanders, they have had more black men get drafted to the NFL to make NFL money. So he has helped elevate other young black men who otherwise probably wouldn't have never gotten drafted, and I'm going to tell you why in a minute. April 8th, 2022, Jackson State defeats Alabama State 26-12, giving the team its 500 win, going 500 in its program history. October 16, 2022, Sanders is interviewed on 60 Minutes, where he discusses the transformation of Jackson State football program under his leadership. October 29th, 2022, ESPN College Game Day hosts a live show from Jackson State. Deion Sanders appears on the show and is interviewed by Kurt and Desmond Howard, Reese Davis, and Pat McGriff. Let me see. November 19th, I'm almost finished here. Jackson State defeats Alcorn State 24-13 to finish the regular season 11-0. It is the program's first undefeated regular season in school history. That's what Deion Sanders did, and y'all call him a damn sellout. December 3rd, 2022, Jackson State defeats Southern 43-24 to claim their second straight SWAC championship. Sanders later announced he is accepting the vacant University of Colorado head coaching position, and that's where we are with that type of history. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we need to learn something right here.
Tell the truth.
You say, what has he done for the university? You say, well, he won games. He did what he was supposed to do to win games. He brought prestige to the university. Thank you for the super chat, Hakeem. I appreciate the $2 super chat. You have a mod or take with JS trimmed out. Folks, yeah, look, he went there and he built something. But I'm not finished, because I gave you his football record, but let me show you what his record is in the community for the school. So right here, ladies and gentlemen, right here, as you can see, that's Deion Sanders to the right. This is Deion Sanders' record right here. Let's break it down. Let's go a little bit closer in there with his record. Economic impact of Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders' economic impact, not only to the football team, but to the city of Jackson, Mississippi, is $30 million to the city of Jackson, Mississippi. He himself and what he did with the football program infused $30 million to the city. $9 million for 2022 Jackson State University homecoming. He infused $9 million into their homecoming, the most they've ever had. He infused $4 million for a boombox classic that they had, the boombox classic. $30 million to the city of Jackson, Mississippi, $9 million for the Jackson State University homecoming, $4 million for their Boombox Classic. He recruited, check this out, his recruitment. He recruited first recruiting class in HBC history. He had the #1 recruiting class in HBC history. He signed the first 5-star recruit, we know it as Travis Hunter, I believe, to an HBCU in HBCU history. No 5-star recruit has ever gone to an HBCU that was touted to go to the Floridas of the world, the Alabamas of the world, so on and so forth. But y'all call him a sellout. Okay, the most number of quality prospects to commit to HBCUs in the history since 2021 put HBCUs on the map nationally. Television media, ESPN TV deal with the SWAC. The SWAC didn't have no TV deal before Deion Sanders, right? They got $120 million over 10 years. Do y'all understand me? See, I'm not, like I said again with y'all.
Tell the truth.
I'm not playing with you.
If you think I'm here to play around with y'all, goddamn it, I'm not. If you think I'm here to play around with y'all, goddamn it, I'm not.
Tell the truth.
If y'all think I'm here to play around with y'all, God damn it, I'm not. Due to Deion Sanders' presence on that campus, the SWAC signed a $120 million deal. Now, you may say, oh, that's not a lot of money. The other schools in the G Leagues get more, but they never had that money in the beginning. They got a $120 million deal over the next 10 years for television deal with ESPN, which means other teams in the historical black college HBCUs are going to be on ESPN more often, and they're going to get some money out of it. Guess why? Because of Deion Sanders. Because of Deion Sanders. 125 games aired throughout the 2022 season because of Deion, but y'all call him a sellout. See, before people start saying these things, you should 1, do research, 2, research, 3, research again, 4, shut your mouth if you don't know what you're talking about. College Game Day came to Jackson State University only second time in the history of going to an HBCU campus. You hear me? Deion Sanders put the HBCU on the map nationally. That's exactly what he did. Whether you all are angry or not about him going to a PWI or a white school, a primarily white institution, a PWI, I get it. I get it, everybody. We should stop. I get it. The white man's ice is colder than the black man's ice. I understand that we should not define ourselves by white. But if that's the case, everybody get rid of all your Nike, get rid of your Adidas, get rid of your Louis Vuitton bags, stop paying taxes. Stop going to the movies. Most of the movies are not made by us. They're owned by white movie companies. Stop doing everything that you do. Stop going to McDonald's. Black folks don't own McDonald's. So you can make an argument that we're all selling out every damn day when we take $1 out of our pockets and we're giving our money to the majority of people who don't look like us. But we had one man here who has done more for a community than most people running their damn mouth on these social media streets, especially somebody like Umar Johnson, who runs his mouth, and Umar Johnson purchased a dump in Delaware in a community where you have a community that's ranked 4th or 6th in the country in violence and drugs. He decides to go buy a property that was a condemned property in a really bad area that has a environmental problem, a Browning area, and he wants to get up here and get on Breakfast Club and get on social media and say these things.
Saving systemically the HBCU legacy and the HBCU program holistically. This wasn't about sports, brother. Sports was the medium to do it, but this was bigger than sports.
Once again, Deion Sanders was not hired to save all HBCUs. He was hired to rebuild Jackson State, Umar. He was hired to rebuild their program. It was by default of his background as an NFL player, his charisma, his connections to corporate America and certain connections to professional athletes, that he was able to bring money to the city to help the community and to help the university. So Umar, he didn't sell out. He did make an impact on HBCUs because he did more for HBCUs coaching at JSU. By default, it trickled down and helped the conference, which now the conference has an exclusive TV deal with ESPN, which means that other schools are going to get money. So what are you talking about, Umar? You need to go back and fix that dump that you have in Delaware. Let's hear what the odd couple has to say from Fox.
People should look at Chris. He came to Jackson State. He's done a fantastic job. He built that program up, got sponsors to build better facilities for that school, and he set up another coach, Chris, black coach, to come in and replace him and have something to work with. He doesn't have to stay there his whole life or only coach HBCUs. I mean, if there was another opportunity that was great at an HBCU, then fine. But to make him feel like he's done something wrong because he went, got an opportunity, built on it, recruited some great players, got money, delivered to the school, Chris, and built something down there that somebody else can take and run with. He has nothing to be ashamed of or feel funny or feel like he's sold out or whatever. I think people have missed the boat here with Deion.
Yeah, one thing that I think one of the worst things you can be is a hypocrite. And so I am not going to be a hypocrite and sit here and rip Deion Sanders for leaving a black institution to go work at a white institution. Because I worked at the New York Times, ESPN, and Fox Sports. I haven't worked at the Amsterdam News and Black Entertainment
Or BET,
Television.
that's right, Chris. Where was your show on BET?
Right. And so I do not have a problem with him leaving and going there to work, a job as a football coach. What I will say is this. If I had to have one criticism of Deion, it would be this. Deion, to a large degree, made it a crusade.
That is true.
When he went to Jackson State and as he was coaching there, he largely made it about resurrecting HBCUs. He even said, he was interviewed on 60 Minutes, Rob. He said, he said, I truly believe with all my heart and soul that God called me. He said, called me collect, and I had to accept the charges.
Tell the truth.
He said that him getting the job at Jackson State 3 months after George Floyd, the George Floyd murder, was relevant because a lot of folks sit back with Twitter fingers and talk about what they're going to do. These are direct quotes. And I wanted to go do it. The interviewer said, do what? He said, change lives, change the perspective of HBCU football, make everyone step up to the plate and do right by these kids.
Well, right.
And
that's
then
right,
he
Chief
recruited
X.
to some degree.
Make sure y'all check out Chief X.
He recruited kids
Damn well
on the notion of, hey, come and change the perspective. Like Travis Hunter, remember the top player who left, was going to commit to Florida State and left them and committed to Jackson State. He said that Deion sold him on how big of an impact he could make at an HBCU and shining the light on our people and on HBCUs. So if that is indeed, that's more than just a job. That's making it sound like it's a calling. Now, was it?
All right.
Tell the truth.
Of course, Deion did make it out to be a calling. Chris Broussard made a good point there that when you bring religion into it and all that sort of stuff, look, that's how Deion is. If you know anything about Deion Sanders, he was the same way when he was a player in the NFL. Very religious. A lot of our people are very religiously oriented, and we bring God into everything that we do. So I don't know why anybody would get on Deion and say, well, he lied. He didn't lie, because a lot of the players on his football team at Jackson State said that they are glad that they had the experience with Deion. Okay. Now I've got some powerful things for you today. I've got some receipts. I got some things. We got Chief X out there. We got a lot of great people in the chat room. I appreciate you all watching, but you're getting a comprehensive show over here. A lot of people are talking about this, but I bet you that my program today is going to give you a comprehensive breakdown of a lot of things that you may not be aware, because I got some surprises for you, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we do over here, and I thank you. Make sure you share this video. I think someone in the chat room said that Deion has a right to make a decision. We all have a right to make a decision. We are a grown people. We don't owe anybody anything. But in the case of Deion, Deion has done more to benefit that university, to endow that university in those students and the football players in that community than anybody. When there was the water crisis in Jackson, Mississippi, who do you think went into his pockets again? It wasn't the president of the school, Thomas K. Hudson. It wasn't Ashley Robinson, the athletic director. It was Deion Sanders that went into his pockets to buy water for the community. He also put up his own money to put his players in hotels to take care of them, which was his responsibility because he recruited them. It wasn't no Umar Johnson, no Umar Black Power Johnson, who does nothing but talk and run his mouth. When the last time you even seen him with kids? It wasn't any of you folks on these social media streets calling him a sellout. And if we check your resume, you probably ain't been doing nothing, probably have done nothing with working with the community and with youth and making things better. But you run your mouth on Deion, who's done more for HBCUs in just his 3 years being there than any of you could do with just your pinky finger. Just your pinky finger. Now, Deion didn't lie to the University of Jackson State University. He was transparent, more transparent than most of these football coaches. When they lie and they just leave out the back door. Let me tell you something. Black people have been sending black kids to white universities where white coaches leave left and right. Do you complain about those white coaches? Do you complain about Nick Saban when he left LSU? You had black players there. Did you get mad at Nick Saban when he left college football and he ran to the NFL? Then he left the NFL and ran back to college? Do you get mad when these white coaches get a new job like in the NFL and your kid, your black child was recruited there and then he leaves? Do you call them out? If you're tired of black kids being at white universities, all black people got to do tomorrow is send your kids to a historical college. So if you got a daughter and a son who's athletically inclined, and they got recruits coming after, got people recruiting them, send them to a black college. If you send all black kids to black colleges, you will dry out the white universities. They won't have any black talent. By default, the TV contracts and all the money would have to go to the black colleges because nobody's going to watch a boring football game or a boring basketball game where you just got white players. It'll be boring. Nobody's going to watch that. They'll watch historical black colleges. Guess what happened at Jackson State with Sanders? Because he was recruiting all these players and beating them at their own game, what happened? HBCUs got them a contract for money over the next few years, 10 years. So that's an example that black people, we are our own worst enemy, because if you really care about these HBCU schools as you claim you do, you would never let your child sign a letter of commitment to a university that's not black. You would demand that they go to a Morehouse, a Howard, a Jackson State. You would demand it, and it would be tradition. But we don't do that. So you need to shut up when you call him a sellout, because you're already selling out when you're sending your kid, technically, to these white universities. Because why? You feel that they're going to have a better shot at getting to the NFL. Let's stop BSing. Let's tell the truth and shame the devil.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe.
Now, Deion was a stand-up man when he told the team this. Here we go.
Okay, down for the nitty-gritty. I I know y'all been hearing the rumors and everything that's been transpiring around about my whereabouts and what I'm gonna do. And I like y'all to hear it from me and not from anyone else. It is what it is. Either in coaching, you get elevated or you get terminated. Ain't no other way. You either elevated or terminated. And it ain't no graveyard for coaches where they die at the place. It don't work like that. They either gonna run you off or you gonna walk off upon your own recognizance. I've chosen to accept the job elsewhere next year. I'm gonna finish what we started. We're gonna dominate. I'm gonna be here to that end and that conclusion. And then when that conclusion, we will move on. Now, what I don't want you to do is thinking something is better on the other side in regards to some of you. I would like to have the opportunity to meet with some of you so you don't go and jump in the portal and you die in the portal. I don't want that to happen because some of y'all thinking it's simple.
College football, they have this system where you can transfer to another school if you're not happy with what's happening in your career or schooling or whatever. So you can put yourself in this thing called transfer portal. He's telling his players, don't take a chance, because if you put yourself in the portal, there's no guarantee that the other teams in the country are going to see you as fit enough to be on their squad. So you may not get picked up. So you may need to think about things. So what he's doing is he's warning the players. He's giving them a heads up. That's more than most of these white coaches do when they leave our kids at these PWIs. Let's get back to it.
Simplistic like that, and it's not. That portal will be loaded on, is it Monday, fella? Yeah. Monday. Portal opens, be loaded, and they're gonna call and they're gonna ask, because that's what we've done for some of y'all when we were trying to acquire y'all. We called and we asked your coaches, anyone we knew, what kind of character, what is it? And I don't want you thinking, since you have the Jackson State awards on you, that people are just gonna flock to you and they're gonna lace you like that. This is one of the best universities.
Right, football is no salvation for black folks.
That you could have an opportunity to play it because of all the bells and whistles and these particular things that we brought here. And I'm trying my best with this wonderful gentleman to help choose this next guy for you. My recommendation goes to TC. They know how I feel about TC. I want.
So as you can see right there, Deion Sanders.
Tell the truth.
Deion Sanders is trying to pick someone that comes from the staff. So he didn't just leave the university and the students hanging. He met with them. He told them before the media starts spilling the beans. So this notion that Deion just up and left and turned his back on the players, the black players at Jackson State University, is a lie. He's there talking to them. He got ahead of it. And he's making recommendations. And he's also warning them that there's no guarantee if you jump in the portal that other teams are going to pick you up. Meaning, if you're going to call Deion Sanders a sellout, why don't you call his football players a sellout? Because some of those young black males that are there in that program are trying to leave Jackson State. They're trying to go to a PWI. So if you're going to call Deion a sellout, then you're going to have to put that, pepper that on everybody. Come on now. They're looking after their bottom line just like he's looking after his bottom line as well. Everybody does that. A sellout is someone who does nothing at all for his people. Deion's been working with young black men for a very long time prior to being at Jackson State. And it doesn't end with Jackson State. And a football coach cannot save black America. We got so many damn problems. Y'all telling me that a black coach is going to save all our problems because he coaches at one school? He can't. We have a Messiah complex.
Tell the truth.
We think everybody is going to, one man, one woman's going to save us. Peace to Back to the Basics, Brooklyn Boy, Jill's Chocolate Boutique, Jay's in the house. Thank you for being here. Stephanie, before 7, thank you for being here. Robinson, thank you for being here. Back to the bases. Jackie for being here. I see you all in the chat room. Shut up and bump. Thank you for being here. And I'm not here to crap on Jackson State or HBCUs, but we got to be honest. The HBCUs have problems. And either because we're not supporting the HBCUs or the alumni are doing the best they can, or does it represent that black people in general do not have generational wealth, therefore we cannot fix these schools because we don't have the money? How many of you even know that Jackson State University has been around for 145 years?
Tell the truth.
They've had 145 years to get some things right here. We're in the year 2022. You've been around for 145 years, and we're sitting up here talking about you don't even have proper grass for your athletes at your school to work on. Deion had to come out of his own pocket, use his connections with advertisers to give them what they got. And when he leaves, everybody turns their back on him and does a shit show on him. Kendra, thank you for being here. We got my man, Chief X, who says, my son plays D2 football. None of his friends accept an offer from an HBCU. They all want to be seen at a PWI. Now, the only reason why they want to be seen at a PWI, Chief X, is for what you just said. Because they know that they're going to get eyeballs on them to be able to go to the pros. But however, Chief X, let me tell you something. Something else y'all don't know about Deion Sanders. When Deion Sanders got to the SWAC conference, he had a meeting with the athletic director, Ashley Robinson, and he met with NCAA officials. Do you know that this whole thing about giving players money for their likeness, they were going to try to bypass the HBCUs. So Deion, along with his athletic director, I give him some credit, met with NCAA officials to say, wait a minute, HBCU athletes deserve to be sponsored as well. So if you got a top flight HBCU athlete, like on the football team, they can sign deals to get paid for their likeness or get paid for their jerseys being signed. So guess who helped that to be possible? Deion Sanders for the HBCUs. He used his celebrity, he used his cachet to say to the NCAA, don't forget the HBCU athletes. They deserve some of that money for their athletes who want to be sponsored in their likeness and if they're great athletes. That was Deion Sanders. But y'all call him a sellout. Go figure. What's going on, my beautiful sister here? She says a lot of folks met with them. Are we giving credit for all that work to Deion? I'm not giving all the credit to Deion, but Deion is the person, he's the elephant that was in the room that made it possible. Listen to what I'm saying to you, sister. If Deion had have never been hired at Jackson State University, you would not have brand new football field. You would not have an increase in attendance. Matter of fact, they said there was an increase in all attendance. There was an increase in people going to black colleges. That's how much his impact was powerful, that there was an increase in HBC enrollment, not only at Jackson State University, but across HBCU schools. Matter of fact, do you know, sister, that they had so many black people enrolling at Jackson State University that Jackson State, once again, because they hadn't been taking care of business, they didn't even have enough dormitory rooms to let these new students have a place to sleep that wanted to be on campus because they had so much increase in enrollment, but they didn't have enough infrastructure, such as dormitories, to handle the volume. If Deion Sanders had not been at Jackson State University, they would have never had that brand new practice field. You would never have seen an increase in attendance at that time. You would not have had Walmart and all this sponsorship. You would not have had that. They would not have different forms of uniforms. You would not have a brand new locker room plush with amenities. When the players would go on their away trips, he had them in 5-star hotels. He had them driving in proper buses. He had security. all the things that they didn't even have. And even though they were working on some things, he was the one that helped get them over the top of completion. He took $150,000 out of his own pocket. How many of you go to work and you're paying for your job? That's not how it's supposed to work. That's the president and the athletic director that's supposed to do that job, not Deion. You don't get hired to get paid to do a job, but then you paying the job out of your own personal funds? He did it because he loved black people. He did it because he loved his players. He did it because he wanted to elevate the program. But we call him a sellout. We call him a sellout. Let me let you know about Deion Sanders' contract. Y'all may not know this. Get ready for this one. Y'all better get y'all collective drinks together here. Get your popcorn ready here, because I'm about to tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
Deion, how many of y'all knew this? Deion Sanders had a incentive-laden contract. Deion Sanders' contract at Jackson State paid Coach Prime $300,000 salary with season ticket sales incentive. Deion Sanders' contract with Jackson State is a 4-year, $1.2 million deal that included at least $120,000 in annual performance incentives and an automatic extension for 8 win seasons. Sanders, 53 years old, is to be paid an annual salary of $3,000 as part of the contract that began December 1st of this year and runs through December 15, 2024. But of course, he's taking the job at Colorado. Before taking over at Jackson State University, Sanders must complete his job and offensive coordinator at the Dallas area Christian Academy, which he's already done that, where his son is a high recruit. And he brought that high recruited son to Jackson State. The university will owe Sanders the full remainder of amount of his contract if they fire him within the first year of his employment. So they could have fired him. After December 15, 2021, Jackson State could fire Sanders for a price tag of $3,000. They would have to pay him in full $300,000. If Sanders were to leave Jackson State, he'll owe the school 50% of what the contract was in the remainder of that salary. Sanders' salary is on par with the FCS head coaches, but is what would put him at least amongst the FBS public school coaches. However, the contract is loaded with incentives. He received $25,000 for each win over an FBS team. He gets $10,000 for a SWAC division title, which he's done. He gets $30,000 for a conference championship, which he's done. If his team reaches the Celebration Bowl, a season-ending game putting the SWAC against the MAC championship, which is their national championship, he'll receive $50,000 bonus for a bowl win in their HBC national championship. Sanders can also get a bonus for ticket sales. Remember the ticket sales where he's saying, hey, what's going on with the ticket sales? Remember that? Remember that video? Now people are saying, oh, it's been taken out of context. That's not really the truth. That's not really what happened. Come on, y'all. What's going on, y'all?
We have 60,000 people in the darn stadium. You told me we sold out, and I checked the receipts, and we done sold 28,000 tickets. Now, y'all better find out who's stealing, because that affects my pocket. You may not like it, but how can we have 60?
Tell the truth.
So you got Deion Sanders talking about ticket sales, that if you get 30,000 people, that's a sellout, I get a certain percentage. But if you're going to fuzz the numbers, and somebody needs to be investigated if this is what's happening, and it goes to the president of the school, Thomas K. As I said before, this man right here, if this is true, this is all alleged right now, because Jackson State has pushed back on this and said, no, that we gave Deion all his money, that Deion didn't get cheated. So they're saying he didn't get cheated, but Deion, they're claiming that, oh, that video clip has been taken out of context. You got it all wrong. It's not what happened. If a game draws more than 30,000 fans,
tell the truth.
He gets 10% of the sales after the 30,000. He receives 10% of all season tickets revenues after the first 10,000 are purchased. If JSU charges, if Jackson State University changes conferences, he gets 100,000. Now stop right there. Y'all hating on Deion Sanders because Deion Sanders has decided to leave Jackson State to go to Buffalo. But yet in his contract, it looks like Jackson State was saying to themselves, if he takes us to the promised land of being able to leave the SWAC conference and go to a big conference, we're going to give Deion a bonus for getting us to a bigger conference. Why would they put that in his contract if Jackson State is so, it's all about the HBCU, it's all about HBCUs. If they're all about the HBCU, they would never give him a latent incentive contract where they can actually get themselves elevated from the SWAC conference of the HBCU to a bigger conference. Let's say that Deion would have stayed there for a long time and they would have been such a powerhouse that, let's say, the Big Ten comes knocking on the door, the SEC comes knocking on the door, the Pac-12 comes knocking on the door, the ACC comes knocking on the door, and they say, hey, we want to move Jackson State to one of these big tier leads. Now you're going to be a D1 program. Do you think that Jackson State would turn that down because they would make a lot of money that would plush the campus and plush the program? If they weren't looking at that as a possibility, why would they put that in Deion Sanders' contract? I'm going to read it right here again. If Jackson State changes conferences, they get 10, they get 100, they'll give them a $100,000 bonus. If you think that I'm making this up, this comes right out of Sports News. The title of this is Deion Sanders' contract. Jackson State to pay Coach Prime $300,000 salary with season ticket sales incentive. There are several ways to trigger the automatic extension to his contract. Not a lot of people are telling you this on YouTube, including an 8-win regular season, which gets him 1 extra year. If the athletic director, who is Ashley Robinson, hires him, Ashley Robinson leaves Jackson State, Sanders gets a 1-year extension. Check this out again. If the athletic director who hired him, which is Ashley Robinson, leaves Jackson State, Sanders gets a 1-year extension. If Jackson State leaves the SWAC, what did I tell y'all? He gets 2 years added to the deal. Incentive-laden contract. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? I'm going to say it again. I'm not playing with y'all.
If you think I'm here to play around with y'all, goddamn it, I'm not. If you think I'm here to play around with y'all, goddamn it, I'm not.
Tell the truth.
He had an incentive-laden contract. They put in the contract that if he gets them to a bigger tier lead, he gets a 2-year extra extension on his contract. And y'all sitting up here calling Deion Sanders the sellout. How about saying that Jackson State, they were 1 step away from selling out themselves and leaving? If Deion Sanders would have stayed there for 10 years, 8 years, whatever years, and he would have got them to a bigger division, they were prepared to leave. Because if they weren't, why would they be putting in his contract that you get a bonus of $100,000, plus we're going to extend you 2 more years? Don't play with me.
Tell the truth.
Don't play with me, ladies and gentlemen.
If you think I'm here to play around with y'all, goddamn it, I'm not. If you think I'm here to play around with y'all, goddamn it, I'm not.
Thank you, Brother Jay, for the super chat. I appreciate that.
Thank you for the super chat. You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
That's what I'm going to do for everybody that super chatted me earlier. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's like this. Peace.
Thank you for the super chat.
Tell him run it up. I wake up. Yeah. I wake up. Flex, I'm down now. Check. No drip this. Wet. Tell him run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell him run it up. I wake up. Flex, I'm down.
Tell the truth.
Check. No drip this. Wet. Tell him run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I tell him run it. 9 out of 10 roll through my hands, I'm by my lonely. Turn to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me. I'm number 1 up on that court, I'm Nick McGrady. The first one in, the last one out, can't call me lazy. Put in my hours, send the invoice and they pay me. I need 6 rings like MJ.
Tell the truth.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. I appreciate everybody that super chatted me. So I want y'all to eat on what I just said. They were prepared to say, hey, if he takes us to the next level, we're prepared to go to those next big conferences, because if not, why, if they had no desire to go to a bigger conference, play against the big dogs, as they would say, why would they give Deion Sanders a incentive-laden contract where he gets 2 years extension and $100,000 bonus for getting him to a point where they would move conferences, meaning leave the SWAC, leave the HBCUs, and go to the big dogs, as they would say. Compared with 27-5 record with a consecutive SWAC championship berth into the Celebration Bowl, the Tigers hit it into the 22 Celebration Bowl with a 12-0 record. And by the way, it was told to me on another panel that there was this thing called the Freedom Bowl or some type of bowl where the president of the school or the administration at Jackson State refused to spend money for the players to participate in this particular bowl classic. So once again, Deion Sanders had to dig in his own pockets again to get his kids a bus and get all the things that he needed to get them there for that type of game. But y'all call him a sellout. Y'all call him a sellout. I want to thank brother Chief X, saying from the Pimpin' X. What's going on, brother? Thank you for that.
Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you for that super chat. I appreciate that by all means, brother, for blessing me with that. We got Yalpo in the house here, Chief X, who just blessed me with that super chat, which I appreciate it. We got Brandon B in the house. We got a lot of people watching today, which I appreciate. Brother Yalpo, thank you for being here. Steven, we got my man Poppy. Check out Poppy's channel. What's up, Poppy? Hakeem gave me a super chat as well, so I want to thank Hakeem. Empress Goddess in the house. Everybody that's come over. Larry Young, thank you for coming over. I hope you all understand where I'm coming from, but I have not given you all the receipts yet. So just hang on. Get your beverage, get your drinks. Don't go nowhere, because we got more to tell you, and I'm going to tell you right now. Now, there was this video going viral from social media, according to people, that Jackson State misused the funds and basically stole from Deion Sanders. Now, people are refuting that, and Jackson State is refuting that too. Misuse of football funds. Individuals were stealing money from football program, moving it to general funds, scholarships, basically stealing from Prime and his players at the tone of 80%. Now, this is what's been speculated. However, Jackson State is saying, no, we paid Deion. There was a lucrative TV deal in place that Deion wanted to get, but the university did not want that deal. That's the speculation here. Deion, with his own money, built a new locker room, ladies and gentlemen, a tennis court, all the new design clothing that the players were wearing, the practice jerseys, what have you, all the fancy meals that you saw these kids eating in the buses that they were on and hotel stays. Deion, when Jackson State went to the Celebration Bowl last year, ladies and gentlemen, the school didn't give any money back to the athletic department. Deion used a lot of his own personal money to fund numerous things around the campus. The university did not help. The president wanted his name in the headlines. This is the problem with us as a people, right? Black people, we don't stick together. Some of us don't stick together. And this is our problem. See, what happened is that the president of the school, and I'm going to put his butt up here once more, he wanted to shine, and he didn't like the shine that Deion Sanders was getting, because you know why? Can y'all hear my mic? Put a 7 in the chat room if you can hear this damn mic today.
Tell the truth.
He was jealous and envy of the shine that Deion Sanders was getting because he wasn't getting any of that shine. Because you know why? Because Deion was doing what he should be doing as president of the University of Jackson State. You see, Deion was doing more than even the damn president in terms of getting that shine, and he didn't like it. Hell, when they had that water crisis in Mississippi, they didn't go to the mayor. They went to Deion to get his opinions about what was going on. That's how much cachet he had. And so what we have in the black communities, we have this thing called jealous and envy, this crabs in the barrel mentality, where when one brother is shining, we can't stand it. We got to outshine him. We do it on YouTube. We got a serious problem before we start talking about other people. We got to clean up our own damn house, our own damn problems. He's the president of the school. That's who you should be putting the buck stops with him, not Deion. Deion's a football coach. He did what a football coach does. You go to the next job if you get a better offer. You would go to the next job if you get a better offer. You know damn well. And if you say no, the truth ain't in you. The truth ain't in you. Deion Sanders at Jackson State, they put Deion's contract after a 30,000 ticket sales. He would receive a percentage of the sales, which was 10%, as I told you. That did not happen the whole time. Allegedly, people are saying that Deion was there, that the ticket sales got messy. And Deion, the football team, none of the staff saw any of the money, according to the speculation, the hub and the buzz on these social media streets. Let me play you this once more again before I go into something else. This is very important for y'all to see this once more.
How can we have 60,000 people in the darn stadium? You told me we sold out, and I checked the receipts, and we done sold 28,000 tickets. Now, y'all better find out who's stealing, because that affects my pocket. You may not like it, but how can we have 60,000 people in the darn stadium? You told me we sold out, and I checked the receipts, and we done sold 28,000 tickets. Now, y'all better find out who's stealing, because that
Of Jackson State University withholding ticket revenue from head coach Deion Sanders.
I'm coming with the damn receipts.
Green Your Side's Joseph Doring tells us how JSU is responding tonight.
On September 27th, a podcast featuring Deion Sanders by the company Earn Your Leisure was uploaded to YouTube. The following comment by Sanders was clipped from that interview and spread on social media. Quote, "How can we have 60,000 people in the stadium and you told me we sold out? I checked the receipts and we only sold 28,000 tickets. Y'all better find out who's stealing because that affects my pocket." Sanders recently accepted the head coaching job at Colorado after 3 seasons with JSU. He has a clause in his contract that states if a JSU game sells over 30,000 tickets, then he would receive 10% of the total revenue of ticket sales. The comment from the interview was specific enough to draw the attention of several people who went online to share their opinions about if this could have led to Sanders leaving JSU. In response to those rumors, Jackson State's Division of Athletics released the following statement Thursday afternoon. Quote, "Jackson State University has honored all financial obligations of Coach Deion Sanders' employment. The video in question was filmed on September 20th on our campus. Unfortunately, a seconds-long excerpt using a hypothetical example from an over 60-minute interview is being used out of context and circulated as fact." The rumors aside, Sanders will still coach JSU in the Celebration Bowl on Saturday, December 17th. In Jackson, Joseph Doring, 3 on your side.
Tell the truth.
Now, I know people are saying, oh, it's not true. They wouldn't do that to him. Right now, we're trying to see what's true, what's not true. That's what's been speculated. But let me let you know something from the past that happened at Jackson State that you may not know about. They have a history of some mishandling of funds. And I'm bringing the receipts here for you all. So I want you to see this. This happened in, I think, February 1st, 2017. They have had some mishap with funding. Look at this clip right here. This is from the news clipping. And you can actually find this and look this up. This is legitimate. JSU, Jackson State University, settles over mismanagement of science grant funds. How many of y'all knew about this? If you knew about this, put a 7 in the chat room. If you didn't know about this, put an 8 in the chat room. Jackson State University settles over mismanagement of science grant funds. The Jackson State University has agreed to pay the federal government $1.17 million to settle allegations that they mismanaged science grant money, according to a release from the United States Attorney's Office. See, y'all didn't even know this. This is the Information Man Show. This is how we get down over here. See, most people just talk about these issues. I go deeper in the surface. Let me let you see another clip to the news article, and you can look this up for yourself. In 2012, an audit contracted by the agency identified expenditures that were not allowed or lacked proper documentation. Investigation, determined that in pre-preparation for the audit, and in the response to the preliminary audit findings, that Jackson State University employees fabricated time and effort reports and provided them to the auditors in the same instant, presented inadequate documentation. Let me read that again. Subsequently, investigations determined that in the pre-preparation for the audit and in response to the preliminary audit findings, that Jackson State University employees fabricated time and effort reports and provided them to the auditors, and in some instance presented inadequate documentation. So they were under investigation by the government for mishandling of grant money. So what am I trying to prove here? That although they have come out and said they didn't cheat Deion Sanders out of any money, they do have a history at Jackson State, and I hate to have to say this, but they do have a history where they have misappropriated grant money and fabricated numbers and fudged the numbers. So if you say that maybe they fudged the numbers on the ticket sales to not give Deion Sanders his incentive, anything is possible. We don't know exactly. It's all alleged right now. But I want to show you that they did have an incident where misappropriated of grant money did happen, that these things can happen on these universities, not just black universities. This can happen at any PWI university. It happens at your Stanfords, your Howards, your Harvards, your Cal Berkeleys. It happens at the white institutions as well, not just black institutions, where people can fudge the numbers and play around with. It happens. But I'm pointing that out for a reason. Once again, we're calling Deion Sanders a sellout, a man that works with men, young black men. But we're setting up here champion Kanye West, who sits around with Fuentes, who's a white supremacist, sits around with the likes of Alex Jones, talks about he loves Nazis, and we know that people were killed by Nazis in Germany, and a lot of people don't talk about the black Germans that were killed by Hitler. And we're sitting up here celebrating this Negro right here because he acts like he's a free thinker, because he's telling us something that we want to hear that we already knew about already, damn it.
Tell the truth.
But we're going to clown Deion Sanders, who's been putting in the work for years. Putting in the damn work for years with youth. But we're going to demonize him. Not to mention, look at what he's done with his own kids. Have you heard of any of his kids, any of his sons getting in trouble with the law, being on drugs, doing anything wild? His sons, we should be celebrating the fact this is a black man who's raised two mature and powerful sons who you don't hear about getting into no mess. But we're going to call him a sellout. And he didn't raise two stable black young men. One son, it looks like he's going to be on his way to the NFL. But we're going to sit up here and clown him and do that type of stuff and say that he ain't black enough. But yet, let's hear what Deion Sanders has to say.
The thing that alarms me the most is just because I'm leaving Jackson, they think that I'm leaving African American. I don't know if you noticed or not, but I'm black. I can never leave who I am and what I am and how I am and how I go about being that. So it is still my task to look in that locker room and see 65 to 70% of African American men trying to help them get to the next level, as well as all the others.
You hear what he's saying?
My calling is for young men.
That's right.
Young women.
You hear what he's saying?
Of all walks of life.
Share the video, folks, and likes. Hit the likes, please.
That's my calling. My calling is not built on a location. It's built on a destination. Now, that was good. You're supposed to clap for that.
All right. And let me show you this video. And before I put this up, let me put this up real quick. Warning, federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyright motion picture videos, tapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use, fair use, fair use. It allows for the proper, criticism, news reporting, the purpose of criticism, news reporting, teaching and parody, which does not infringe of the copyright under 17 USC 107. This is when they got to Colorado. Now I want to stop it right there. I want to move it back over here. I want to see some. I want to make a criticism real quick. His son has not finished his commitment at Jackson State, and he's got a Colorado head on. That's the one thing that I did not like when Deion brought his son here to see these facilities. I just didn't think it was a good look for his son to already be rocking Colorado gear when he's still under a scholarship commitment to Jackson State, and he has to get out of Jackson State through way of the portal, even though we know his father's going to bring him. Let's go right ahead and see a little bit of this. You know, that's Babyface's ex-wife that he with. That's his daughter right there. That's Babyface's
like
ex-wife. Remember Babyface?
It's very cool, huh?
Very exciting.
She's in, her and Deion are a couple.
It's your door.
Fair use, fair use, fair use. And here's another one.
Coach, this is our NFL corridor. Gotcha. This is where we show some of our former buffs in the NFL. Right in here is our ring room, the International Championship Trophy. One thing we have done a little different here is all of our try to get as many trophies out behind the glass.
With his daughter right there.
Well, it is cold out there.
Do like that. White is nice.
Let me add some clipping to this. Oh, trust me. It will definitely be added.
You go.
Damn, you got the speakers over there? So this is a cool setup.
Oh, big him.
We also have a balcony out here, Coach, where families can watch the game.
Tell the truth.
Tell
All right, ladies
the
and gentlemen.
truth.
That's a little bit of Deion when he went to the Colorado to look at the facilities. As you can see, it's very nice facilities. But at the same time, I don't see him as a sellout because he's still going to be working with black young men. And he has been working with black young men prior to even being at Jackson State University. This is no shade to Jackson State. I just feel like we as black people, we got to get our act together. Deion, that school has been there for 145 years. Deion is not the one that caused whatever the problems are economically for that school, but he went there and he enhanced the school. They are better off today than they were before he got there in terms of their football program and facilities and whatever extra Deion did that we don't even know about. I want to show you something else. Remember, Deion got robbed. Now, they tried to deny this as being something that happened that was true, but Deion said, no, it did happen. They tried to minimize it down there. No, so what happened is right here. This is Deion Sanders talking about it right now. And here we go. Fair use, fair use, fair use.
God bless you. Appreciate you and everything. I'm pissed off right now because I have mixed emotions. We won. Kids played really well. But while the game was going on, somebody came in and stole every darn thing I had in my locker room, in the coach's office. Yeah. Credit cards, wallet.
Tell the truth.
Thank God I had on my necklaces. How? So when I talk about
Tell the truth.
equality and raising the standards, and that goes for everyone, man. Not just the people on the field, not just the coaches, not just the teachers, not just the faculty, but that's everybody, security and everybody. So how do you think it feels coming back after just teary-eyed because the guys have presented me with the game ball, one of the best moments I've ever had in my professional sports career emotionally, and then you go into your locker room, your coach's office to digress, and you notice and you don't even have a phone to call your mama, to call your girl, to call your kids, because it's been stolen. You don't even have the scully hats that you wore here. We're gonna find out who did it. Darn it, that was good. You give me some of my good stuff. We just getting started. I already went in the bag, baby. Let's go. The thing that alarms me the most is just because I'm leaving Jackson, they think that I'm leaving African Americans. I don't know if you noticed or not, but I'm black. I can never leave who I am and what I am and how I am and how I go about being that. So it is still my task to look in that locker room and see 65 to 70% of African American men trying to help them get to the next level, as well as all the others. My calling is for young men, young women, and people of all walks of life. Also,
tell the truth.
Ladies and gentlemen, what makes this program special today, as I told you, I go deeper. You're now going to hear from actual students from Jackson State how they feel about Deion Sanders leaving. They're going to be some good, some bad. I want to give credit to Sister Marie. I think it's Marie, M-A-R-I-E, if I'm saying that correct. She has a YouTube channel. I want you all to go over there and subscribe to her channel because she's on campus, and what she's doing is she's using her YouTube channel to kind of display what's happening at Jackson State, not just about Deion Sanders, but just Jackson State in general, okay? So her name is spelled S-A-D-E, Marie, M-A-R-I-E. She's a YouTuber, and I want to say shout out to her. And once again, federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyright motion picture videos, tapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use, and is allowed for the purpose of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which does not infringe copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107, everybody. And I think she's telling the truth. Look, we old folks like myself, we talk a lot of crap, right? But let's hear from the young people, the youth, because they're the ones that go to school there and know what's really happening. Let's hear their point of view. And these are all students at Jackson State University. Let's start with this sister right now. The sister you're going to see right here is the one that I just named. She has a YouTube channel, and she is fantastic.
Coach, okay, head football coach. We're going to say that again because a lot of y'all wanted him to operate as the president. He's not the president. I remember the whole water incident. They was like, Deion got his players in a hotel. What about us? Y'all, come on now. When have y'all ever put that responsibility on any other coach? Football coach, okay? Remember that. So when y'all was mad at him, that was really ticking me off, okay? He don't really got to worry about us, even though him being here still has benefited us, in my opinion. Even when I seen the whole thing when ESPN was here, they had journalism majors anchoring and doing all that good stuff. They not a part of football. It benefited them. He brought in $30 million into the city of Jackson.
Tell the truth.
Only getting $300,000 a year. That's more than good. I was gonna say that's pretty good. That's amazing. So yes, would I have liked him to stay here longer? Of course. Who wouldn't want Coach Prime? But am I gonna be upset that he's leaving? No. I wish him the best. That's it. I really get offended when I see people say stuff like, oh, that was for nothing, or now we're finna go back to how we was before. You're basically saying that we're incompetent. And we're not. He had it up here. We can keep the ball rolling if we want to, okay? If we put the right people in position, okay? It doesn't have to go back down at all. We're not incompetent. D.I. Love is still D.I. Love, like a lot of people said in this video. I have faith in my school. Y'all don't have to have that type of sorry mentality at all. Okay?
Tell the truth.
All right, she's telling the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to play a couple more videos of the youth, the college youth that we have at Jackson State telling the truth. But let me put this up here. You remember I played that video with Deion Sanders talking about he got something stolen, and then of course they said, oh, it wasn't true, and Deion said, no, it was true. Let me show you something. This is receipts. This is from Deion Sanders' own Twitter page. He says, whenever putting out the lie that my belongings, he says, whomever put out the lie that my belongings wasn't stolen is lying. See what I'm saying? So when he put this out in that video where he said his belongings were stolen and people were saying, oh, no, it's not true, as you see right here.
Everything, I'm pissed off right now because I have mixed emotions. We won, kids played really well, but while the game was going on, somebody came in and stole every darn thing I had in my locker room, in the coach's office.
In the coach's office. Now, people were saying that, oh, that's all blown out of proportion. no one really stole Deion's belongings, that the staff put it somewhere, but that's not true because Deion came back on his social media and said, whoever put out the lie that my belongings was not stolen is lying. My belongings were taken out of my zip bag in my office, and more items were taken as well from my office. We have retrieved them since being reported. My staff members witnessed the crime. This is Deion Sanders, his actual, and I'm telling you the truth, his actual timeline on his Twitter. Let's go back over here because someone tried to say this. And then Deion said, nah, it was stolen, but they got it back. It was stolen out of my personal bag in my office, and my assistant caught the gentleman in the process of stealing it, but she was alone. No miscommunication, my man, at all. So there's somebody here by the name of Stephen J trying to go back and forth with Deion, and Deion is saying, no, sucker, I was robbed. It's the truth.
Tell the truth.
Okay, that's what happened, ladies and gentlemen. We got to tell the truth. We're going to tell the truth. We're going to tell it all. Okay? Now, let's go hear some other students at Jackson State University.
I just want you to know, it's all love from him. It's all good. I know it's a business decision. But we had unfinished business that was yet to be finished. And I'm telling you, it could have been up from him. But we still want to keep going. On bro. Bro, there you go. On bro. On bro. What you think? I mean, like, he went with the better option, though. Like, you can't knock the man for doing what's best for him. Like, I feel
tell the
same
truth.
Way, like, he went with his best option. And, like, while he was here, I feel like he did what he was supposed to do. So, in the future, I just say we just got to keep playing like he's still here. So, like, bro, just because he gone don't mean we got to stop doing what we do. 12 and 0, we could do that 3. You ain't had to take the QB, though. Man took the kids with him. That's crazy. That's why I found disrespectful taking the kids. That's it.
About Coach Prime leaving is, I'm kind of upset because you left for PWI, but it's okay because we're going to be the before and we're going to be the after.
Me personally, my personal feelings on Coach Prime leaving, me being an academic student, I don't do any athletes. It really doesn't directly affect me, but the simple fact is the overall goal was to help and benefit HBCUs. So you win it, so you leaving and doing all this for our school, giving out how to talk about you and uplift HBCUs and all that, just for you to leave and go to Colorado. Look,
you put a good spotlight on HBCUs, but ultimately it was a double-edged sword because it left Jackson State at a deficit. I feel like he had more to give us as a community because we showed up for him. I feel like there was more that could have been done, so he left us.
I feel like he did his job.
Yeah, he did what he had to do.
He put HBCUs on the map. With him leaving gives us a chance to prove ourselves that we're,
but
bigger
State
than just
itself,
Deion.
Jackson State by itself, not just HBCUs as a whole.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's a generalization. Jackson State, though, we still, in a way, struggling.
Yeah,
he has some issues.
We got a lot of issues.
And I'm not saying he the president. He has to fix it. That ain't his job.
That's not his job.
But he put a spot.
Once again, the sister right there speaking is telling the truth. This is SADE, Maria, MARIE's YouTube channel. Fantastic sister. She's a sister that I had speaking in the beginning. That what the young people are saying is the truth. There are some negatives to him leaving. There is some positives that he did to the school. That is a fact. But this is the truth of the matter. He was not hired to save Black America. Deion was hired as a football coach, and he's not the president of the university. The person who squarely had that responsibility is by the name of Thomas K. Hudson, who I've been talking about most of the show. The buck stops with him. As you see him right here, he is the president of the university. It was his responsibility to deal with the overall issues of the school. Deion came there, and there were things that were not in place that he fixed. Now, I have comprehensively broke down all these things that Deion did that a lot of you didn't even know. When I earlier said that, he did this, he did that. A lot of people didn't know. So that's why my title says that Deion Sanders and Jackson State, did Deion do more for Jackson State? I told you that because of him, they now have a 10-year TV contract with ESPN, which will bring them money. Because of him, he's made sure that athletes in the HBCUs who are star athletes can get the licensing agreements to make money while in college, just like they're doing in the D1 leagues. Deion Sanders is the one that made that possible, along with the president, Ashley Robinson, you see right here. Let's continue on with these young, brilliant people.
On us at our worst time, but at our best time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You talking about sports, yeah. But I've been brushing my teeth with a water bottle since August. So
And here's one right here that you all.
The police. What is the police gonna do? He got permission. I got permission to do this shit. You fuck ass nigga. Fuck you. Yo damn, how many children go with you? Fuck Colorado nigga. Fuck all this shit. You got to go. Everybody got the time. Deion, it's your time. Oh. Well.
They go to police. He ain't doing nothing. They mad. All right.
Tell the truth.
Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you all being here. Now, I'm going to make a point here, and I want everybody to listen to this very carefully, what I'm about to show you. Because this whole thing about Deion being a sellout and that black people putting all their hopes into one man, it's a Messiah complex, and we got to get out of it. Now, Deion, what he could do, what we need to get back to, and I think George in the chat room would agree with me, is that we got to get back to collectivism. It's a collectivism. I agree that if Deion would have stayed at Jackson State, he could have continued to transform the school and recruited more black athletes to go to HBCs, and it would have been a big win for HBCUs. And he was a big win there for 3 years. And that you want to create something that's going to benefit the collective. I get it. But if you look at Deion Sanders' records, going back to Texas and what he's done at the Prime Academy, he's been working with young black males for quite some time. And it doesn't stop or even begin with Jackson State. And once again, he's a football coach. He's not Malcolm X. He's not Dr. King. He's not going to save all black America. And quite frankly, you can't expect him to be the savior of all of HBCU. That's the responsibility of the presidents of the school and the athletic directors and the teachers to do their damn job. Deion did his job successfully for 3 years that he was there. And he gave them more than they had when he got there. He put a light on HBCUs. He put a light on HBCU football, and nobody knew who Jackson State was prior to Deion being there. Matter of fact, if Deion had never been there, none of us would know who Jackson State is unless you just follow historical black colleges like that. Now, I want to bring a blast out of the past here because I want to make a point, and I want you all to listen to what I'm about to tell you. And I'm not playing around with you.
If you think I'm here to play around with y'all, goddamn it, I'm not. If you think I'm here to play around with y'all, goddamn it, I'm not.
Once again, let's remind you, Deion Sanders donated half of his salary to Jackson State projects. The former NFL star revealed that the plan to donate half his salary as football coach at Jackson State to help the university complete construction of its football facilities. How many of you take your own personal money and give it back to your job? So Deion did the right thing. He's at a black institution. He's trying to help black people out. And y'all calling him a sellout. Now, let me show you what happens when you say, hey, you should have stayed there. Let's create a legacy. I think legacies are great. I think we should create legacies. I think we should stay in places and create legacies, right? But then this is what can also happen to you when it comes to legacy. Let's look at my frat brother, Eddie Robinson.
Tell the truth.
Eddie Robinson was at Grambling State for many years. He did what many of you feel that Deion should have done, which is stay there for the long haul. Well, he did that. Let's look at his numbers, statistical numbers. This is how black people treat each other after we give all our blood and sweat. And we shouldn't do this to each other, but let's look at his record. Let's look at Eddie Robinson's record, career record. 57 years at Grambling State in 1941 and ended in 1997 because they showed him the damn door.
Tell the truth.
408 victories. 45 winning seasons. I think no one has more winning seasons than, I think he outbeat, who's that old coach who got fired and then he died that used to coach Penn State? That they all thought was the greatest winning coach. He outdid him. Eddie Robinson had 45 winning seasons at Grambling State. 9 national basketball college championship. 9 black college championships, excuse me. Brooklyn Boy, thank you for the super chat, man. I appreciate that.
Thank you for the super chat.
Let's get back to it. It's the Information Man show. 9 national black college championships, 17 Southwest Athletic Conference titles. He sent more than 200 players, black players, to the NFL, including Hall of Famer Buck Buckman, Willie Davis, Willie Brown, and Charlie Joyner. Okay? 408 victories, 45 winning seasons, 9 national black college championships, 17 Southwest Athletic Conference titles in the SWAC, 57 years at Grambling. Started there in 1941 when most of us wasn't even born. And guess what they did to Eddie Robinson? Once he got old and he got up there in age, they showed him the door. Wasn't nobody talking about, oh, y'all can't do this to Eddie Robinson? Oh, come on, it's about, listen. They showed him the door when he no longer was winning, when he no longer in their minds was competent in his coaching ability. They collectively showed Eddie Robinson the damn door, and I speak the damn truth.
Tell the truth.
Now, let's talk about the first black man to win a Super Bowl championship. That's Doug Williams. Doug Williams was a high-profile individual. He won an NFL championship with the Washington football team, the first to do it, is a black man. And then what happened after he retired from the NFL some years after? He got a coaching job at Grambling. Look what happened to him at Grambling right now. Williams returned to Grambling for the second stunt in 2011, going on to win a 4th SWAC championship. But the school fired him in 2013, just 2 years after winning a SWAC championship, ladies and gentlemen, after the program suffered a slump. In recent years, the university has launched the Doug Williams Center for the Study of Race and Politics, which is a good honor. But what I'm trying to prove here is that he got back there in 2011, won a 4th SWAC championship for them in the SWAC, but the school fired him in 2013, just 2 years after winning a championship, because the program was still slumping. So he won a championship 2 years, and then they fire him 2 years after the fact. What did I say before? If Deion Sanders would have went to Jacksonville and would have had losing seasons, not a winning season in those 3 years, they would have did the same thing to him that they did to Doug Williams.
Tell the truth.
They would have fired him. And y'all wouldn't be talking about Deion's a sellout. Y'all wouldn't be talking about, oh, he gave up on black schools, or he don't want to help the black community. He's all about the PWIs and the white schools and all that. Y'all would have been sitting up here calling him a loser. Y'all would have been saying, hey, he might have been a great player in the NFL, but he ain't a good coach. Get this bum out of here. That's right. Because y'all kicked Eddie Robinson out the door, and he has a coaching record that's better than anybody in the SWAC. Matter of fact, he's got a coaching record that's better than probably anybody coaching on this God's green earth.
Tell the truth.
Now, Any of y'all in the chat room, tell me y'all wouldn't have done this. Colorado has reportedly signed the former NFL star to a 5-year, $29.5 million deal, the most lucrative contract given to any football coach in the school's history at Colorado, and a huge bump up from Sanders' current 4-year, $1.4 million contract 3 years ago with Jacksonville. Check this out. But guess what? Deion didn't get all that money. He got $300,000. He got $300,000 a year, and he was donating money out of the damn salary. And it's alleged that there might have been some funny business with ticket sales. Alleged, because I don't have all the facts on that. That's coming out of social media hype. Jackson State has reportedly offered Deion Sanders a starting salary of $5 million. He didn't get $5 million. I just want to clarify some things here with the damn receipts. Also, Jackson State has never been on the Sports Illustrated. This was a Sports Illustrated issue that put them once again on the national map, sports-wise. That never happened before Deion got there. So what I'm saying is, even though we're not happy that Deion is left, or some of us, we should not throw him down the river and call him a sellout and be disrespectful to this man, because he has done more to help the institutions of historical black college football. And he's also shined a light on the university. He's also shined a light by default on Jackson State. So we shouldn't sit up here and just throw this man down the river like he's a nobody.
What do you say? You talked a little bit about it all year, about Jackson and how they have fed into you and fed into this program, and they're still standing here in the stands while you guys are accepting this trophy tonight.
Jacksonians are resilient. They just needed a little hope. They just wanted someone that they could believe in, that they could trust, that they could ride with, that was going to be right there for them. And for that, we love you, Jackson.
You guys are headed down to Atlanta.
Yes.
What can you expect from that matchup?
We really haven't spoken about that all year long, but our young men and as well as our coaches know we have unfinished business there. The motto of all week was we're going to focus and we're going to finish. We're not done yet. So we still have one more to go, and we will finish.
Thank you, Coach. Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Tell the truth.
All right, tell the truth. Let me go to the Isaiah report. They said that should Deion Sanders have taken his new coaching job, 81% on the Isaiah report said yes, and 19% said no. But let me let you hear this.
Feelings on both sides. Let's talk about it. Todd Smith, Barry Laminack, Kim Davis, and Shanita Smith are all here. Shanita, you're representing the HBCU, Southern University. So first of all, your thoughts on him walking away from Jackson State University. Now we see the salaries.
Selfishly, I would have loved for him to stay at Jackson State because I think he did a great job for the program, but ultimately for the SWAC. But for $5 million, I'll walk away too. I mean, we have to take ownership of our own programs and not put the onus on someone.
Right there. That sister said it very perfectly. We have to put the ownership on taking care of our own programs and do not put it on just one person, because I can ask the very honest question. What the hell was the administration doing prior to Deion being there? And you can make the argument when Deion got there and saw the poor conditions that they weren't doing jack shit.
Else. I think it's very important what he's done for us, and I say us because a lot of people hadn't heard of the SWAC.
What's going on, Mike B?
And now they're very familiar with the SWAC. But we've got to take the SWAC back and own up to our responsibility and do what we need to do to recruit the kind of young men that we want to play in our athletic programs, as well as the young ladies.
Todd, do you think you will ever be able in the SWAC, representing HBCU2, ever be able to afford a salary like that or pay coaches what they need to stay in place?
I don't think you can afford what he's getting paid at Colorado, but we can afford more if more people give back. Like Shanita said, it's on us to represent the SWAC and do what's best for the SWAC and not put the onus on one person. A lot of people have criticized Prime for saying that he's going to do something for the community, and when the money came, he took off and ran. But a lot of us say the same thing. We're on social media, we talk about the community, and we need to do this for the black HBCUs and the black community, but a lot of us don't put our dollars where our mouths are. So if we take the responsibility and put it on ourselves, I think we can make a difference. But I think he started a movement. But if we look at black history, movements were not always centered around just one person. You had people behind the scenes when somebody might have stepped aside and died, somebody to take that mantle. The civil rights movement didn't end when King died. It continued with Abernathy and Jesse Jackson. So we need to take what Prime did and use it to our advantage. I'll tell this one quick story. A lot of times, HBCUs don't think that they can get those top-notch athletes because we have that complex that, oh, they don't want to go there. I had a cousin who was a first-team All-State player out of Glen Oaks High School in Louisiana, James Vernon. Southern didn't recruit him. He had to recruit Southern. Our family went to Southern. He always wanted to play for Southern. They didn't think they could get him. So you have to get out of that mentality that we can't get the top players. Some of those players want to go to HBCUs, but they don't think, since they're not getting the phone calls, oh, they don't want me. If we go after those players, we don't have to rely on Prime. Take them to Homecoming, take them to the Bayou Classic, take them to the Circle City Classic. A lot of those top-notch athletes will come to HBCUs without the flamboyant coach.
Kim Davis, Chalk Talk, sports journalist. Do you think Deion did the right thing, Coach Prime?
Absolutely. You know, he did the right thing for him and for his family. You know, you look at what Deion did for Jackson State and for SWAC and putting kind of a spotlight on HBCUs. Who's done that in a while, right? That was awesome. So the key is to pick up the mantle where he left it and to build on it. We can't have a different set of rules for Deion Sanders and for any other coach at other universities, right? Because he, I would dare to say, left Jackson State in a better position than when he got there. And so he's moving on. Who's the next person that's going to step up? How is Jackson State going to build on that? What is the SWAC going to do to say, okay, we've gotten this little bit of notoriety. How do we build on that? How do we, you know, go out and make sure that we sustain a good television package? And you've got to get all of your universities, all of your member institutions, like Shanita said, to do more, to do better. You've got to recruit. You've got to, you know, you've got to build.
Tell the truth.
As you can see, and I think someone made a good point in the chat room. You heard that brother say that some of the young black men want to go to these black schools, but sometimes they don't even receive a letter for recruitment because some of the historical black colleges don't think that, well, they're going to be interested in coming to us. That's what you call an inferiority complex. The HBCUs have to get out of the inferiority complex. They have to think bold and big. That's what Deion Sanders brought. He's thought big and bold. If you're not even trying to recruit them, then you can't complain about not getting them because there might be some that might want to go. I think that was a good point that brother made. Now, we know that most of them are going to want to go to the PWIs because they want to be in the big spotlight. I get that. But if you're not even trying to make an effort, what does that say? Deion got there, he was making effort, and he benefited. Of course, he has the name recognition. We have to keep that in mind, too. He has the name recognition. Now, I want to put something up. The president of the HBCU, this is not the president of a school, he's the president of HBCUs in general. He said some cheesy things, and he ended up trying to take it back on social media. And I want to put him up here, and here he is right here. This is Kevin W. Cosby. He said, here is my official statement regarding the controversial tweet I made commenting on Deion Sanders exiting from Jackson State University. See my full statement. Now, basically what he's trying to do is take back what he said. He basically came out as the president of the HBCUs. That means he's the president of the overall HBCU system. He was wishing Deion to fail. So he got greasy about Deion on social media. And I'm going to read a little bit of this to you before we get ready to end the broadcast today. So let me go in here and see if I can find this where he originally said all this stuff. If I can find this, give me 1 minute, ladies and gentlemen. So where did I put this thing at now? Here we go. I'll just slide this over here and give me a little bit more time, folks. I'll be right with you in a moment. I want to find this. I want to find the right one. And while you're listening, here's some music for your listening pleasure. All right. This is his, let me put that off. So this is his official statement from HBCU President Dr. Cosby. Oops, why is it sliding down like this? Oh, here we go. Now it's working. All right, here we go. So, official statement from HBCU President Dr. Kevin Cosby regarding his controversial tweet commenting on Deion Sanders leaving. Recently on a tweet, I made the comment that I hope Deion Sanders fails in his move from the HBC Jackson State University to the University of Colorado. My statement was not intended to disparage or to wish ill will upon Deion on a personal level. When I said I hope he fails, I was using he in a plural sense. See, he's lying. He's just got caught in this and he's want to take it back sense and not in the singular sense. Look, man, just be honest. You want him to do bad because you're mad that he left the Jackson State because you're going to lose money now, possibly because of him being gone. The he I was referring to is the entire system inadequacies that the previous black institutions such as HBCs from competing with predominantly white institutions. Well, then you should be asking yourself as the president of HBCUs, what can you do to change your strategy in trying to compete or get better resources? It's a black college, so it's on black people to make the changes, right? I am blessed to be the only president in American history to restore HBCUs from the ground up doing this. So he's trying to do his apology when Deion told his players in the farewell address that the coaches are either terminated or elevated. Such language buys into the notion that leaving a predominantly black space to work in a predominantly white space is elevation. So I get what he's trying to say there, ladies and gentlemen. I get it. I get that. I get where he's coming from, but he ended up trying to explain why he said what he said. He said what he said out of emotions. I get it. Deion made a big splash. He helped the schools out tremendously and put them in an area that they were not in before. And I get that.
Tell the truth.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be the end of our program for the day. I appreciate everybody in that chat room, everybody that supported the show today. Definitely share the video. Appreciate you all. Appreciate y'all. Hope you got something out of this. Put a 7 in the chat room if you got something out of it. Thank you, Just Natural. Thank you. Been watching. Appreciate all of you. Really, again, a clap. appreciate all of you. If you got something out of this video today, please put a 7 in the chat room. Share the video. I'll be back with more presentation. I appreciate all of you. Lisa Jackson, everybody in the chat room, I appreciate you all. Thank you for your support of the show. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit the bell notification, like the video, share the video. I appreciate everybody supporting me today. I appreciate it. Peggy Roster, Deborah Guns, Empress Queen, Kenton G, Pep, Poppy, everybody, all of y'all, I appreciate you again.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
I see my man Yaupo in the house, Jill's Chocolate Boutique. A lot of great people. Kimberly's in the house.
Tell the truth.
Information is power. Information is power.
Tell the truth.
Information is power.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.